between Afghanistan and Bhutan. On the surface, it does look like an easy game for Afghanistan against the 2008 semi-finalists Bhutan, but if they are to upset the odds against the Lions of Khorasan, they'll have to produce something spectacular. For more, we have here with us our experts of today's match, Atishay Agrawal, editor 90 Minutes magazine, which is the only football magazine in India, I hear, and Shahrukh Sohail, of course, the chief editor of Football Pakistan, right?
Thanks for having me.
We start up with yesterday's game, Pakistan-India, and we had you as an expert yesterday too. What was wrong with the defense line? Can you tell us more about the Samar-e-Shah own goal?
Yes, once you look at the replay, you can see that Yusuf Bhatt was clearly calling for the ball, and Kamran heard that, and when he jumped for the ball, he realized that the goalkeeper is coming back, and he ducked slightly. And when he ducked slightly, Samar was running right behind him and incidentally forgot that the ball came towards him and just hit him and went to the goal. And it's just symbolic defending at best.
Right. And Atisha, what do you make out of India's performance? Because the man we talked about so much yesterday, Sunil Chhetri, did not really perform in the first half. He was marked out pretty well by the Pakistani defenses, wasn't he?
I think the entire Indian team didn't perform in the first half. I don't know whether it was, just turning up and expecting to win, or whether it was just things going wrong on the day. But the entire team was absolutely, they were toothless in attack in the first half. They couldn't they couldn't string 2 or 3 passes together. They were playing long once again. So it was the kind of performance that it was a very regressive performance. It took India back a couple of years, how they used to play 2 or 3 years back. It was that bad a performance. And they only woke up after the 60th minute or so. Yes, Sunil was quiet for most of the game, and he came alive only after the 60th minute, but he too missed 3 or 4 chances. He won't be happy with that.
Right. Apart from the 3 points that they've received after winning this game, what are the positives for India from yesterday's match?
I guess the positive would be that they've earned 3 points without playing well. That's what good teams, that's what champions do, right? When they don't play well, they still grind out a result and get the points on the board. So that would be the biggest positive. Mehtab Hussain had a good game, and the defenders stuck it out. Pakistan had a lot of chances, but the defenders still managed to keep them from scoring. So I guess those would be the main positives.
Right. Pakistan produced some brilliant playmaking yesterday. Ahsan Bashir was exceptional. Mohammad Adil was exceptional. What do you make out of Pakistan's game yesterday, and what are the positives they can take out from yesterday's game?
Pakistan will be raring to go after performing like that yesterday. And as you mentioned, Hassan Bashir and Mohammad Adil ran right in the first half. Adil was particularly good on the wing and gave Mohan Raj a run for his money yesterday. So once you look at that, Pakistan's coach will also be very pleased with the performance, but he'll be disappointed that his lads didn't get on the score sheet. Hassan Bashir had a couple of chances, as you mentioned. He hit the post in this first half. And so, it's going to be a very interesting game to see how Pakistan perform against Nepal. They're going to have a home support as well. So Pakistan should hope for a similar lineup, and they should go out for a win.
Right. So, Shahrukh, one question I have for you, and perhaps this is tingling the minds of many. After an own goal, that too from a captain, what's the mindset like in the team? And what's the mindset of the person responsible for the own goal?
Disappointment, just sheer disappointment. Hassan in particular looked particularly sad after the match. He was lying on the field for the remaining minutes. And, Pakistan, considering the chances they had, they should have found the back of the net. And Samar himself would have been very disappointed that he conceded a very soft own goal. So it's going to be difficult for Pakistan to, rally motivation as they go into the next match. But if they look at the entire first half, they'll be very pleased with their performance.
Of course. Plenty of positives for both teams as well, despite Pakistan lost. Well, but now it is time for India and Pakistan's neighboring countries, respectively, Bhutan and Afghanistan, to battle it out. Bhutan, of course, being the lowest ranked country according to the FIFA rankings in SAFF, and Afghanistan being the highest. What are you looking forward from this game?
I think what most of us are looking forward to is a goal fest. Not that we would really want to see that for Bhutan's sake, but I think that's what everyone is expecting. There's a vast gap in terms of quality and in terms of FIFA rankings between the two teams. And also physically, Afghanistan are miles ahead of Bhutan at the moment. So I mean, realistically speaking, Bhutan would do well to keep the scoreline a bit respectable. But yeah, I think likely to be a very one-sided game with Afghanistan really coming out on top.
Provided that it should be a one-way game, and I'm sure Afghanistan are not taking it lightly. What do you believe is the strategy of Afghanistan going into this match between Bhutan and Afghanistan?
I think this want to score goals. Bilal Azuk scored a couple against Bhutan in the 2011 SAFF Championship, and I'm sure he'll be really keen to go on the score sheet as well. The coach Yusuf Kargar, he'll be hoping for a easy match, perhaps rest some of his key players for other clashes, and they just go out for a win, have a good time on the pitch, and score a couple of goals.
What about Bhutan? What is their strategy coming into SAFF Championship 2030? I'm sure they're not looking to win it because they've been so undermined. But do you think they really stand a chance against teams like Afghanistan for that?
I think what Bhutan would really be hoping for, considering their performances in the last two SAFF Championships, is a point. If they get 1 point out of the 3 games, I think they would go home quite happy with themselves, because the last 2 SAFF Cups have been shambolic from their point of view. They've conceded 33 goals, in 6 games. So it's going to be an uphill task for them. So the strategy would be just to hold out, defend well, concede as few as you can, and maybe somehow nick a goal somewhere and get a point on the board somehow. That would be the strategy, really.
Right. The greatest achievement for the Bhutan team when it comes to SAFF Championship have been when they qualified to the semi-finals in 2008.
Yeah.
And they did beat Afghanistan then.
Yes.
So do you think they stand any chance today? Is there an outside perspective that maybe, just maybe, Bhutan could emerge out victorious?
That shows you how unpredictable football is, right? How countries can progress and regress. In 2008, Bhutan beat Afghanistan 3-1. And in the last SAFF Championships in India in 2011, they lost to the Afghans 8-1. So, from winning 3-1 to losing 8-1, and now here we are with, expecting Afghanistan to run riot again. Realistically, I don't see a chance for Bhutan to really scare Afghanistan today. If they can keep it to 3 or 4-0, I think Bhutan would be quite happy.
Right. Shahrukh, 3-1 was the scoreline when Bhutan beat Afghanistan, but they've certainly come a long way from there, haven't they?
Yes, definitely. Bhutan are a good team. Once you look at the lineup, considerably improved from that time on. But Afghanistan is the highest ranked team in the SAFF region right now, and I think they'll score a lot of goals today.
What is the strength of Afghan team? Is it their overseas players?
Yes, definitely. Once you look at the Afghanistan Premier League that recently started, it's just a new startup, and Afghanistan have been war-torn for the past decade or so. So they've been relying on their foreign players for most of their goals, and that has worked remarkably well for them. You've got Bilal Azuk, who plays in Norway for Asker. He's been spectacular in the SAFF Cup and was almost the top scorer, eclipsed by Sunil Chetri at the end in the last edition. So he'll be leading the line. You've got Sanjdar Ahmedi, who plays in Germany for Wehr on Marshland. He'll also be partnering his Arzu up front. And the only omittance for Afghanistan this time is normal captain Dalal Sharita, who plays in Qatar. So I'll be expecting Zohaib Islam immediately to captain Afghanistan and lead from the back. It's going to be easy ride today, obviously, but I think they'll just try to get as much goals as possible and get a shot of confidence before they face tougher opponents like Maldives.
Right. Afghanistan have been praised to be a good team, but one thing they've been accused of lacking is temperament, and that reflected in the 2011 SAFF Championship finals against India, when their goalkeeper was produced a red card. Do you think this Afghan team is more mature in that context?
Yes, definitely. Look at last edition's performance. Afghanistan were an upcoming team then. They weren't as experienced as much, and that was the biggest match to date. So once you look at that, yes, Afghanistan has improved a lot considerably in terms of their maturity. This year they were the only team from South Asia amongst the SAFF Cup regions that qualified for the AFC Challenge Cup. And so they've definitely matured a lot, and during this game I'd expect that they'll be easy on the game and they'll play a very nice, decent game that doesn't require a lot of tackles or getting yellow cards, because that'd be really unnecessary at this point.
How is the Afghanistan head coach Yusuf Kargar's 4-match ban turning out to be for Afghanistan?
Yeah, so that's been an interesting case so far in the AFC Challenge Cup qualifiers. He got a ban from FIFA after he abused an official during the last game. So eventually FIFA told him that he wouldn't be available for the SAFF Championship because he got a 5-match ban, and the AFF took extra measures, and they got their beach soccer coach to take over. But apparently when Kargar appealed that ban, he was allowed to take to the dugout for this game, and that's going to be an interesting case, because if FIFA do deny his appeal, then he's definitely going to have to depart, and that's going to be a difficult task for the assistant coach, who's going to have to come on after that.
Very sure. So Atishay, Bhutan being called the least likely team to win the SAFF Championship 2013, what are the strong points in their team? Are they good in the defenses, midfield, forward? Where is their strength?
It's very tough to pick out positives for a team like Bhutan when they're competing against sides who invest a lot more in the game and who are ranked significantly higher. I think as you go lower down the rankings to the weaker teams, usually the case is that they find it tougher and tougher to score.
Right.
So Bhutan's strength, so we can say, would be defense, so that they can hold off the opposition and not allow them to score. So as long as they give it their all and are disciplined in defense, maybe they have a chance to contain teams from scoring too many goals. So that would be probably their strongest point.
The obvious strategy of Bhutan going into the SAFF Championship or any other game would be to utilize most of their powers in the defense areas, right? And
yes.
do you think that is what they're going to do?
Yes, I think they're going to play really deep. And they're going to invite Afghanistan to attack, and they're just going to put numbers behind the ball and clear at the earliest opportunity, and hopefully one of their long punts down the field would catch a striker, and they can build an attack from there. That's going to be their strategy.
Right. What about Afghanistan? They are going to attack. Do they have the strength in their team lineup to score a considerable amount of goals?
Yes, as I said earlier, Bilal Oz, who's a top-class striker, who also played on loan in India, and you've got Sanjtar Ahmed, who recently scored against Pakistan as well. So they're definitely going to find the back of the net. It's just a case of how many they're going to do.
Any players from Bhutan specifically that we need to watch out?
You have the captain Pasang Shering, who's who plays in midfield. Being a very inspirational figure and an experienced player in their team. So, he's required to sometimes help out in attack, sometimes hold the ball. So he does a bit of everything in midfield. So that would be he would be one player who you really need to watch out for. We also have Pema Rinchen in defense, who is an experienced campaigner. Is probably is in fact the most capped Bhutan player. So he's going to be inspirational at the back, and he'll need to lead the line to make sure that they don't concede too many goals today.
Right. Shahrukh, when you talk about the Afghanistan lineup, you did mention a striker. What about the defenses in the midfields? Are they equally strong as that FIFA ranking suggests?
Yes, definitely. You've got Zohaib Islami, who will be captaining this side, and you've got Faisal Sakhizada, who plays for Dandenong Thunder in Australia. So they've got a good, decent backline comprising of foreign players, and they've got some local players coming in as well. And then you've got midfield with Mustafa Azadzo in the midfield, and then you've got Hadid as well. So they've been excellent so far, and I expect Yusuf Kaga to perhaps give a reserve midfielder a chance, because he's expecting an easy game, so he might want to rest a couple of stars to prepare for other games as well.
Right. What is Afghanistan's goal when it comes to playing in the SAFF Championship 2013?
Well, this time they're going to win it. I think they should go all out for a win. They reached the final last time out and were unlucky of sorts not to win it. So I think nothing less than a win would be enough for them.
Right. And Bhutan will, of course, be settling for at least a point, like Atishay said.
Yes, in the entire tournament, I don't think realistically they're going to get a point today. But maybe against Maldives or Sri Lanka, they would be. That's something they can hope for, a point somewhere.
Do you believe that the Bhutan team, after qualifying for semi-finals in 2008, has gone down considerably when it comes to the potent that they had?
Considering the situation in Bhutan, where there's a serious lack of infrastructure and investment into the game, plus it's not that they have a very large population, so it's very difficult to expect them to really make that step up. Yes, I think what happened in 2008 was exceptional. That Bhutan reached the semis. I think it was a sort of a one-off that we need to appreciate and applaud. But I think right now, since then, they've been back to what their level really is. So, hopefully they'll improve again and maybe surprise us all. But I really don't see it happening. Right.
Shahrukh, what are the injuries for Afghanistan coming into the SAFF Championship 2013?
The biggest injury is definitely Captain Dilal Shariatar. He's been injured. He's not taking part in the SAFF Cup, and he'll be missed definitely against when Afghanistan plays stronger opponents, because he was spectacular in the last SAFF Cup. But other than that, they don't have any major injuries coming into this game and the SAFF Cup itself.
Right. We had a word with the defender, Zohaib Islam, and he tells us that Afghan is in no context looking at this game lightly.
Yes, well, obviously he's going to say that to the media, but considering what Afghanistan did to Bhutan last time out, I think they'll be taking it pretty easy this time, and hopefully they'll score a couple.
Do you believe in the Group B, Afghanistan are going to emerge out in the top?
They should definitely be on top of the game, and if they do that, they'll get 3 points there, and they can look to gather 2 other victories against Maldives and Sri Lanka, and then perhaps top the group with ease.
Right. And for Bhutan, I think the only positive they can see from SAFF Championship initially was they being in the slower group, isn't it? Because
yes.
Group A, and if Bhutan was there was no chance of they winning.
Yes, that's true. But then on the other hand, you have Afghanistan in their group, who
right.
are probably the likeliest team to score the most number of goals against Bhutan. In any case, I think Bhutan will look at this tournament as the best chance to get some match practice, some matches right. for their team, because they play very, very few international friendlies. So this is really the best competition they get, and they'll probably be using it to, test their players, get them to play, because most of them are not professional, not full-time professionals anyway. So that's the kind of mindset and approach they're going to have going into the tournament.
Right. News has it that the junior Bhutan team is doing pretty well.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, they did well at the under-16 SAFF Championships, and even held Pakistan to a draw. So maybe there is some hope there that the next generation has taken more of an interest in the game and are being coached slightly better. So perhaps in another 5 to 8 years, we see a Bhutan team that is significantly stronger than this one.
Right. Talking about Afghanistan, and not this game, just this game, what are their preparations coming into the SAFF Championship 2030?
Well, as you know, Afghanistan played a friendly against Afghanistan, and they won 3-0, which was a comfortable win, and incidentally a historic one, considering that they played the first home game in over a decade. So they're going to be definitely confident, and since they played at home, the crowd is definitely behind the Afghanistan team, and preparations have been going well for the coach as well. They trained in Afghanistan, they played a friendly, and they're just ready to go. Hopefully they'll get a good result today and then build on that.
Right. Media has it that Sepp Blatter traveled a couple of times to Bhutan, and the Bhutan national football team has been receiving assistance from FIFA for football development.
Yes, FIFA, as you know, is trying to help the South Asian nations to really come up and improve their national sides. So FIFA has been assisting Bhutan in terms of artificial pitches and even some financial aid. So, and Blatter has traveled to Bhutan a couple of times, and is, in fact, he tweeted after one of his visits that Bhutan is an enviable country in terms of the atmosphere and right. how it is as a nation. And he tweeted that how the national index in Bhutan is measured is not by gross national product, it's by gross national happiness. That was his comment on right. Bhutan. So he's really fond of Bhutan. It holds a special place inside his heart. That's what it seems like. So. He would want to make sure that Bhutan do well.
Right.
So hopefully they can.
And looking at this Bhutanese team that is going to be playing today's match against Afghanistan, name one player from Bhutan that we need to keep an eye out for.
Like I mentioned, we have Sharing in midfield and Pemarenchin in the back. But we also have Yeshe Dorji, who is a striker. And he played against Afghanistan in 2008 when they beat Afghans 3-1. And he scored in that game as well. So perhaps he can turn the clock back and score another one today. Who knows? Right,
that is what the Bhutan fans will be hoping.
Absolutely.
Shahrukh won't be hoping that. Tell me one player from Afghanistan that you think is really going to take away the game from Bhutan.
I think it's going to be Bilal Azud this time, and since he scored a couple of goals against Bhutan last time out, he's going to be hoping for that again, and since he's aiming for the golden boot, he's going to definitely find at the back of the net today.
Right. My next question will bring a smile on Atishay's face, as I can see. What are your predictions for the scoreline?
It's when the game, at least on paper, is that one-sided, it's really tough to predict. I would predict Bhutan to not score today, unfortunately, as much as I would want them to. And maybe, hopefully, they can keep Afghans to under 6 goals.
So Atishay believes it's going to be a huge game for Afghanistan in context of scoring goals. And I know Shahrukh has been waiting the entire pre-match review for this. Tell me, what do you think is going to be the scoreline today?
Well, last time it was 8-1, and considering that Afghanistan have improved a lot since then, I think this game could go into double digits for them.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Both experts suggesting that it's going to be a huge scoreline, and that too just in favor of Afghanistan. But just reminding my audience that Bhutan did manage to beat Afghanistan 3-1 in the 2008 SAFF Championship. So you never know when the clocks might turn around again. For now, this is time for us to sign off from the studios. We have live action waiting for you after the break.